What is going on, everybody? Hey, my name is Steve Larsen, and this is Sales Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
All right. So a lot of times I will go, obviously, sorry I'm in the car again, by the way. Usually I am in front of a nice microphone, but every once in a while when a thought hits me and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's one of the core principles that I use. You know, I decided I should probably share them with you. So anyways, I'm in the car and I'm driving, and just thought I'd take the time. So recently, somebody asked me, I can't remember what they asked me, but anyway, this story from my past popped up, right? And I had this stalker, and sorry if she's listening to this, I seriously doubt it, but so I was in college, and I had this stalker, and everyone kind of knew it. You know, she wasn't, I guess that's the thing about stalkers, is they're not being subtle. So she was like showing up at our door in my apartment. She'd be like, hey, how's it going? And she's like awkward about it. She's like, hey, so yeah, hi, and just wanted to come by and say hi, and come say hi. And you're like, yeah, you said it 3 times though. And she's like, well, and it'd be silent for a second, and be like, yeah, because I wasn't interested or anything, you know. And she's like, well, okay, see ya. And I'd be like, okay, whew, we're done today. All right, that's good. See you tomorrow, I'm sure. Or tonight or some awkward time. And then she'd show up again. She'd be like, hey, I made this t-shirt for you. And I was like, you made me a t-shirt? Holy crap. I think I threw it away after she left. I felt bad. I was like, I'm not going to wear this and keep this going. Yeah, and then another day she came by, hey, I made you cookies. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're not buying me with your dang cookies, although they're tasty and delicious. And anyways, she went through this crazy elaborate scheme to ask me to like this, it's like a Jane Austen ball thing, you know, that the campus was putting on. And that's not something usually I would typically go to, but you know, I'm not going to say no. I wanted to be nice, you know, and so she went, I can't even remember what she did. Oh, maybe it was another shirt, or I don't know. I can't even remember what it was, but it was big and elaborate, and it was extremely clear that she was going through this massive thing to go through the trouble to ask me to this dance in a really crazy way. And so I was like, yeah, sounds good. She's like, that's all you're gonna say is yes? I went through this huge thing. You gotta say yes back in a really fun way. And I was like, okay, you know, and I never did. She got all offended, but I was like, okay. She's like, I get the feeling like you're not interested in me. I was like, well, yeah, that'd be right. So I decided, what the heck, I'll answer back in a crazy way. And so I was like, what's something I can do that is kind of out there? And I promise this relates to business. It's like, what's something I can do that's like, it's like borderline crazy, but is, you know, it's not like the typical thing, but we'll totally get the thing across. Like, I wanted to afterwards like think, wow, she'll never forget it, but also put a little disgust in her brain, right? And I was like, okay. So I started walking around, and I was like, maybe something will pop up today. So I was at the grocery store. I was getting getting food for the next week, and I see these, you know, I was over by like where the meat section is, right, the deli area, and I see these salmon, whole salmon. They're huge, right? They had been, you know, gutted and cleaned and everything, of course, but huge salmon. I was like, I'm totally buying it. I don't even know what I'm going to use it for yet, but it's somehow involved. And so I had this huge salmon, and I bring it back to my apartment, and this thing's like frozen rock solid. And I was like, okay, like, how am I gonna use this for? And all of a sudden it hit me, and I was like, oh, this is it. And so I went and I grabbed like this knife, and I start trying to chop off the tail part. And this sounds totally morbid, like thinking about it now, but it was frozen solid, so I had to like leave it out until it was a little like oozing a little bit. It's totally disgusting. All right, it smells a little bit. There were 6 of us in that apartment. I'm sure all the other guys in there were like, what the heck is wrong with this kid? So I was telling them the idea that they're like, this is genius. So I took I eventually like sawed off the tail, and then I took a piece of paper, and I wrote on there, looks like you got me hooked, you know? and I put it inside a plastic bag, and I shoved it inside of the tail, right through the part where you clean it all out, right? So basically, there was a note in this massive salmon tail, and I went and I got a coat hanger and made a hook out of it, and some dental floss, and I hooked the floss to the hook, tied it to the hook, and then I hooked the tail onto the coat hanger, so it looked like it was a fish hook. And then I went to her apartment door, and I hung it in front of their door. So as soon as they open the door, they see it, and it was like, it took them a while to find it. And it's hanging in the hot sun, getting all nasty and dripping everywhere. I mean, it's just like totally disgusting. I had no problem dropping her after this, and she opened the door, and I was hiding, and I heard her go, "Oh my gosh, what the freak is that? Like, this is disgusting." And she goes, and she opens it, she's like, "Oh." And she was like looking at it, she sees this little note sticking out, and opens it up, it's like, looks like you hooked my tail or something like that. And she's like, "That's how you said yes?" I was like, "They're not my stalker anymore." So I didn't say that, but we went on the date, and she still was like, "Don't be nervous if I want to like touch you the whole night. Like, I'm just really excited. I'm on a date with you." And I was like, no, and anyways, she totally got the idea, especially after the fish thing, and never saw her again after that. But it's kind of a big, long story. And I ended up taking the other part of the salmon and cooking it for a girl that I was actually interested in, and totally impressed her, and it was awesome. And anyways, so what's the whole purpose of that story, right? That you have to be, sometimes you got to lose people, right? And you don't have to be mean about it. And I'm not saying you do crazy stuff, but here's really the lesson to it is you got to be prolific, right? What the question I started asking myself to make that whole thing happen was basically, how can I be prolific, right? Which is not crazy, but not mainstream, right? It's that in-between stage. And the only marketers that actually do anything with a lot of traction do something prolific. You think of like Dollar Shave Club, right? Their marketing is pretty raw. And so it's like Carl's Jr., right? Or, I'm not condoning anything that any one of these people do, but if you just look at what they're doing, they're prolific. They're doing things that are out of the norm, right? If I'm going to go pitch someone and try and get them to buy, I might as well, either make them laugh or really shock them or do something, right, that's going to be memorable, because I'm sucking up their time, right? I guarantee she remembers that stupid salmon fishtail, and she understands that I'm just not interested. Stop pursuing, you're wasting your time, right? I guarantee she remembers that, right? Every one of my friends remember that. It was a huge, it was a little bit prolific, especially for the dating world. I keep giving all these dating examples, so I'll give one more. So I was, I came back home in between semesters for Christmas, right? And I come home, and I was actually at church. Goes to show what was on my head by going to church this time. But I go to church, and I sat down in front of this girl. I was like, "Dang, who the heck is that? She is hot. Holy crap!" And I sit down, and my brother's with me. I was like, "Did you see her?" My brother's like, "Freak yeah, man! Like, holy smokes!" And she. Anyways, it took me a little bit of guts to work up the courage to ask her out and things like that, because she's hot, and I was making sure I had my buff stuff on. And anyways, so I went in and I asked her out on a date, and I was like, I got to do something on this date that's going to be really cool, right? Something that's not mainstream, something that's it's funny thinking about it. I never realized that I was asking that same question. Something that's not mainstream, right? Something that's a little bit crazy. I was like, and I want to get her out of her comfort zone just a little bit, just so she knows that I'm a little bit nuts sometimes, right? And I'm a little bit nuts, and she's got to know that this is kind of the part of the package, and I like to be kind of out there sometimes. And so like, all right, here's what we're going to go do. So I picked her up on the date, and I was like, hey, we're first going to go to Goodwill, which is like Desert Industries or something like that. And we're going to buy everything in there that has anything that has to do with Argyle. Like golfers Argyle. So we went, and I got like this cool tie. I was wearing a fedora. She was wearing this vest, and it was kind of goofy, and she's like, "What the heck?" And I was like, "Okay, cool. Now we're gonna go. Just wait a second." And we pull up to this putt golf course, and I was like, we're gonna play putt-putt like we're serious putt-putters, which is why we dressed up for it. I was like, we're gonna go do putt-putt like that, and then we're gonna go have a picnic on the putt-putt golf course. And it was like, she told me later, she was way outside of her comfort zone. It was a double date, and my buddy and I were just hamming it up, and it was a lot of fun. Shout out to you, Down Wilcox, what's up? Anyways, she was not interested in me after that date. She was like, crap, this guy's like interested, and I don't know how to say it. And I was like, I gotta do something else that's kind of crazy, you know? And this is gonna sound nuts. How long have I been going on this podcast already? I've already been going, I gotta look at my phone without crashing here. 10 minutes, all right, I'll make it quick. All right, here's the story. I was like, okay, I gotta sweeten this deal somehow, because she's not interested. I know she's not, and yeah, despite my striking, amazingly good looks. Anyways, so she worked at this daycare, right? And I had at least convinced her to start texting me and things like that, and you know, baby steps. So I text her things every once in a while. Hey, hope the day went well. You know, hope to see you sometime soon or whatever. She goes, oh my gosh, my day was awful. And it was a Wednesday. She's like, my day, it just sucked. I mean, the kids were everywhere. Parents expect you to just kowtow to their children now. And she's a preschool teacher basically. And she's like, it was really, really bad. I was like, gosh, I'm so sorry. You know, that's awful. And so I was like, I'm going to make a Survive Your Thursday kit. I didn't tell her that. And so I was like, you know, I was being goofy with it. I showed them a childish side, cheesy side, goofy side, kind of crazy side, you know, all that. And I was like adding in all these little things, you know, like snacks and books and like things that you would give a kid. I was like, here's your Survive Your Thursday kit, you know, give it to the kids, or, you know, you have it or whatever. And I went and I doorbell ditched it, and she was like, oh, thanks. And she told me later, she's like, crap, this kid's like totally addicted now, you know, I'm screwed. And she's hot, you know. Anyways, and we went, and she invited me over, and she actually worked at an orphanage in Romania for a little while. So she showed me those pictures of that, and I was like, cool, this is progressing, right? This is progressing. And I was like, man, I gotta do like one more thing, you know, to try and get her to know, like, I'm a goofball, but I'm serious, you know, I'm not crazy, but I really want a steady date, you know. And I'm losing my voice a little bit, but so I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a catalog. She's talking about ordering all this stuff for her brother's wedding, and I'm like, okay, I'm the oldest of 6 kids, you know, but between me and the youngest one is like 17 years. So I still siblings still that are not even teenagers, like while I'm recording this right now. I'm 28, if you guys are trying to do the math. Anyway, so I went and I took pictures of, like, you know, this is like 5 or 6 years ago. So I took pictures of, like, you know those play sets? I took pictures of, like, these play sets, like the food they have in there, you know, like the little plastic pizzas or plastic hot dogs or whatever. And like, do you want a plastic pizza or a real one? You know, call this number to order, and here's my number. Do you want fake dates? You know, it's just a pile of dates like the fruit. It's like, or do you want a real date? Like, do you want a fake movie? And I took a picture of, you know, like a movie theater, or a real movie. Do you want this or this, this or this, this or this? And she goes, she texts, or she calls, she's like, I'll take the real date with real pizza, like the real movie and real this, that, I can't remember. And I was like, sweet, I got the next date, you know. And this sounds totally cheesy, right? But that's the point. All right, when you do your marketing, when you do anything, putting up a freaking order form that's like, where there's no explanation, or you're just buying ads straight to your site, that sucks. All right, playful people are typically more creative people. I had a professor tell me that. He's one of the best teachers I've ever had in marketing. I got a marketing degree, right? And that's one of the things he would have us play with little kid toys in the middle of his lectures. No joke, I'd play with Play-Doh. We would play with all sorts of stuff, and he'd be like, you're required to play the entire time in this class. You understand that? We'd be like, what the heck? He's like, don't take out notes. He's like, put that crap away. He's like, don't do this, put that crap away. And And it was prolific, right? His teaching style was prolific. And he's like, that's not normal. That's crazy. You know, why are we doing this? And because we were playing, we were in a more creative state. And so that's the challenge. That's the whole point of the purpose of this podcast I'm trying to say is that you guys have got to, some of your marketing, some of these funnels that I'm looking at, you guys are sending over to me. I mean, your product is great, but your message is bad in your ads, right? You look boring. You look like a corporation. No one cares about corporations. No one falls in love with a corporation. They fall in love with a certain individual or icon or idea, right? You know, Flo from Progressive, she's the highest paid spokesperson. Why? Because people think Progressive when they think of her, right? It almost makes Progressive third party compared to her, right? She's the advocate. She's a spokesperson. She shows faults and flaws, and their commercials are cheesy, but you know they give you a chuckle, right? And so that's the whole thing. Is like one I saw recently. I won't say the name, but it was a squeeze page. The page looked gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful. It was amazing. Very well designed. Very well paid. Very awesome looking page. Totally mainstream message, right? And so he's got like a level 10 design on like a level 2 marketing message, right? Marketing is all that crazy stuff, the little, prolific stuff, the stuff that you do that, and I'm not saying you got to do stuff that's crazy, but just look at what everyone else is doing and don't do that, right? Right, which is the exact opposite thing you do when you're building the business, right? If you're building a lifestyle business right now, or something that just make a little extra money, right? Don't be creative. Don't get out there and be creative. Go find someone who's crushing it. Model what they're doing. That's the safest path to making money in that industry, also. But then after after you've matched the control of the other person, after you've gone through and you're actually making money, it's time to be prolific, right? It's time to go out there and find your own spot in the ecosystem of the industry that you're in, right? That's when you go be creative and crazy and playful or whatever it is. Whatever you are, it's not so much a matter of like highlighting all of your strengths. These are my strengths, and I'm highlighting my strengths in my business and personally. Like, no one cares, right? It's more about highlighting your differences, because everyone works so freaking hard to be mainstream in our society. Everyone does. That's what pop culture is, That's why everyone watches the same freaking TV shows. That's why everyone does the same things. Like, you know what I do when I'm about to go create sales funnels? I watch comedy. I do. I'll go, and it's not even like it's, adult comedy or stuff that, man, I'll go freaking watch Even Stevens, one of my favorite TV shows in my childhood. Not all the time, but sometimes I'll go do that stuff that makes me playful, because you cannot be consuming new data and be creative at the same time. You are either consuming or you are being creative, right? Your brain cannot be analytical, which is like one side of your head, and then be creative, which is the other side of your head, at the same time. So that's the whole reason I'm telling you guys these stories. Like, freak, man, I used marketing principles to get my hot wife, right? I did. That's what it is, though, right? It's dating, it's sales, it's anything that you want, right? Anyways, I got sweet deals with people and awesome clients because of sales. Sales principles apply everywhere, and after a while, marketing principles. I mean, it's all kind of the same formula. Just go be prolific. If you have a current business, if you're still working on yours, start looking for ways that you can be in the future, right? Just do stuff that's kind of nuts. Like, what's that crazy one I saw recently? There's a commercial I saw. You guys have probably seen this. I can't even remember what it is. But it's a commercial. I think it's a commercial. It's been like a decade since I've seen it, but I still remember it, which is the power of this. Or like, here's a better example, like the Old Spice commercials, right? With that guy with the shirt off, and he's like, "Hello, ladies," right? And he's like, at the end, he's like, "I want a horse." It's just all this random stuff, and all he's really saying is, wear Old Spice, and you'll get a horse and a handful of diamonds with tickets and a lady, Anyways, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but stop being mainstream. Just highlight your differences, and you'll be good. If you just do that one thing, you'll start to become a brand. You'll start to become your own culture, or culture. Be your own cult. Kind of like Russell Brunson always says. It's kind of funny. So And that's it, man. Guys, ladies, whoever it is that's listening to this. By the way, if you guys want me to look at your sales funnel, just shoot me a message. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Skype. Well, Facebook's the best one, not Skype. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. And go ahead and send me some of your questions. I've got a lot of interviews that are coming out and a lot that have already come out. So if this is the first time you've ever listened to this podcast, just go back, and I like to dissect people's sales funnels with them, successful entrepreneurs, and find out what failures they went through to produce that good result or lead them to that good part. So anyways, guys, we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. I promise to not always do these in the car. I know the mic quality.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Want to get one of today's best internet sales funnel for free? Go to salesfunnelbroker.com/free funnels to download your pre-built sales funnel today.